Okay, so I forgot to put do not disturb on, so I got a message. Anyway, part 3. What does this guy say? I have no idea why anyone from a tropic or oceanic country would come to this frozen hellhole. Yeah, right? I just continue to think of how African slavery was done. Country rulers sell their people to Europeans as slaves. Those slaves get dropped into a strange country unfamiliar to their kind, expected to survive with no prior knowledge of winter conditions. Why don't these immigrants just say no and move to some place in Central or South America where the climate is nice? Do you really want to live in a place with the winter 8 out of 12 months with an average of negative 20 degrees Celsius? I mean, it is fucking cold as shit here. Anyway, they're pretty useless in the cold. It's like most things. They get sold a lie, come over here for a dead Americanized dream. Yeah, Canada's never had anything close to the American dream. It's always been a fucking, like, a settler struggle. It doesn't matter if you're immigrating now or way back then. It's always been a settler struggle to tame the wildlands of Canada. End up as essentially a slave class working half a dozen service industry jobs, living 8 plus to a house. Usually it's their own doing it to them as well. Yeah, see the Indian hotels with Chinese slaves, Tim Hortons franchises as green card farms. Yeah, every Tim Hortons ran by Indian people. Also, Pizza, Subway. That was it for a long time. Tim Hortons wasn't ran by Indian people for the longest time. They got out by Brazil. They got bought out by Brazil, like, I think 5 or 6 years ago. They also sold their coffee recipe to McDonald's, and now they are ran by Indian people. I think it attracts greedy, soulless, money-hungry people. Yep, Canada's completely fucked at this point. I'd rather live in the Philippines or Mexico. It's true. Honestly, everything's owned by Indian and Chinese people. Not a bad thing. It's helping the economy. It's bringing money to the country, but they're shipping all that money back out to their country. So of course their countries are doing very well and being enriched because they're coming here and taking jobs and the money, and they're sending it back. Sort of like how a lot of these people became bureaucrats and then started implementing a lot of red tape as to where we cannot produce and manufacture our own and industrialize our own resources. We have to export our resources to have them processed. We're not allowed to build processing centers in our country. Who is that convenient to? Who does that help? That helps nobody but the foreign industries, right? Anyway. Reminder that this first thing he did is allow newcomers to vote in elections after a few short years. Almost everyone has forgotten. Expect libs to reign forever or share power with the NDP. Fuck 1% trying to import taxable population. Inner city housing complex 6 vacant, up for sale only 12 years after it was built. Absolutely pathetic. Investment done. That's in Manitoba. Is it trying to import tax? My screen's glitching hard. Weird. It's an open secret in Washington, D.C. that Trudeau is literally the illegitimate crypto son of Fidel Castro. I know everybody keeps saying that. He really does kind of like, but you could do that with a lot of people. It's like Bill Hicks and Alex Jones. You know, every single real white man can sense in your bones that such a clearly dog whistle racist. We're ignorant. To a worldwide Marxist Bolshevik communist police state with weaponized forcible migration, used with the intent of smashing long-established white homelands by using ethnic genocide via replace. It's not even about white. Like, I know a lot of Indian and, like, black people that have had generations of families that live in Canada. Same thing with natives that have done a lot of good and are just getting fucked by the same thing, Marxist, Bolshevik, communist bullshit fucking system that's getting put in place. The system in Canada has been long established by it's always been multicultural. It's always been French, Spanish, black, native. We've always been a cultural smelting pot. So I don't know what the fuck this guy's talking about. Anyway, but he's got a little bit of truth in what he's saying. Being imported by an industrial scale, we are being tsunamied by billion-plus rival ethnic cultural groups who come from Marxist anti-white West country. So like when you kill speech and you kill a certain language, it prevents this other side from being analyzed, and it totally just makes it a one-sided argument, which is not good. This is the elite business class, political, police, religious classes adhering to their desire to rule over a world of masses of simple-minded, easily manipulated, controlled, mongrel debt slaves. And that's what I pick up on in Parliament. All the Liberals are saying all the right things. Hey, we're taking care of you. Everything's good. Everything's great. It's going to be great. Everything's a great society. Vote for us again. Conservatives are clearly concerned. We need transparency. Where the hell is the money coming from? This is scary. And all the people here is, oh, that's scary. And then these guys are saying, we'll wipe your ass. So I think we'll vote for the I'll wipe your ass instead of the, hey, we need to start paying attention and it's getting real fucking scary right now. Right? What sounds better to you? If you had to vote between a guy that says, hey, I'm going to wipe your ass every day, and a guy that says, hey, there's something wrong here, we're going to have to do some work to get it fixed, I would vote for the guy who's going to wipe my ass every day, right? Anyway, rich Asian people in Vancouver and Indian to keep Filipino slaves in the attic or basement with their Shaughnessy mash. And zero fucks given by the government. My fucked up Ottawa sister who is rich has a Filipino maid coming to clean for her. When the maid brought her son to work with her because he was homesick with whooping cough, my sister and her doctor husband both got whooping cough. I laughed a deep belly laugh. Oh my God. Do they vote Liberal? Every Benjamin Canada will have an Asian or Filipino wife and non-white children. You know what's funny? My uncle's actually moving to the Philippines because he says it's really affordable. And they have a good program with Canada. The Crown is now considered racist in Canada. Not like I was a big fan of the Queen to begin with. I think royalty as a whole serves no purpose in modern society. No, I agree. People who claim royalty are fucking worthless. Yep, in my opinion, I agree. But even the Queen has been recorded openly calling Trudeau a horrible person for continually reminding her how old she was. That's a pretty asshole thing for someone who claims to be loyal to Canada. No, the federal government recently changed the look of the crown on our seals from having the cross to that blue shit flu de blah blah French bullshit. Fleur de lis, flou de blah blah. Fleur de lis. French bullshit to being maple leaves and a snowflake. Yeah, because we are multicultural. Yeah, fucking snowflake. That's so tragic. So yes, the crown on king bundle of sticks head is now a racist symbol in Canada because it does not reflect our multicultural BS. Just over 1.3 million new immigrants settled permanently to Canada from 2016 to 2021, the highest number of recent immigrants recorded in Canadian census. Immigrants account for 36% of physicians, 33% of business owners with paid staff, 41% of engineers. Less than 8% of Canadians voted for this. I hate our electoral system. Incorrect. I have been living in this country my whole life. I have never voted once in a single election. I've never liked the Liberal Party of Canada. Most of them seems like flat-out sociopaths. The right has always been too cucked on their own for their own good. Yep. The only part I found any interest, are the neocons. No, seriously, I think I support the neocons more than I do any other group. Stephen Harper was all right with me. I'll do this. Neoconservatives. Redditors are unironically saying this. Yes, they want us to ignore immigration completely. Yada, yada, yada. This is literally crying about nothing. Can any of you come up with a solution given the current constraints? Mass demographic boomers retiring. Second mass demographic millennials can't work hard. Overeducated, prefer working STEM or white-collar jobs. Lack of people willing to do hard jobs. This is a problem happening all over, including places. It's not people don't want to do the hard jobs. You aren't paying enough to do the fucking hard jobs. The government is sinking all the money into dental and housing plans instead of raising income for people. So nobody wants to do the hard jobs because you're still paying fucking pennies on the dollar. This guy's dumb. He just defeated his own purpose in his last two statements. Overeducated, prefer working STEM or white-collar jobs because they pay more and you do less. Lack of people willing to do hard jobs because they pay less and you do more. Why is that? Because you have more people coming in shitting up the quality of work and the quality of jobs. This is a problem happening in the amount of pay. This is a problem if you keep importing cheap labor, right? The base labor pay for the hard work and the labor jobs is never going to increase because you continually import people who think that pennies on the dollar is a miracle. These people make 10 cents an hour. They come over here and they make $5 an hour. It's a miracle to them. Whereas the base minimum wage here is like $15, $16. So you get what I mean? Anyway, include places like Europe. You don't see those threads because of time zone differences. What? You don't see those threads? You have people posting on these forums from everywhere in the world, from every time zone. This is a stupid fucking bot poster. This is a Fed poster for sure. You can afford to own your own home in Canada if you just save up and compound for 15 years working the trades while doing coding as a part-time job and eat nothing but sardines and broccoli. It's just that simple. Okay, this guy's being sarcastic. Okay, good. Gone are the days of affording a home in Toronto on a grocery cashier salary, back when Toronto was a couple shacks and a gravel road. Or if you don't want to man up and grind, move to fuck somewhere else. Prove me wrong. What is this guy saying? This guy's being sarcastic for real. Actual retard. He's sounds serious and then he's going into sarcasm. Like, I don't know. This is a Pajit for sure. 2 jobs for 15 years while eating poison so you can maybe afford a home in a hellscape. Yeah. A reduction of white homeland populations would have meant affordable housing, peace, and prosperity. Not this hellish neo-Marxist boomer slave system that we have now. Neo-Marxist boomer slave. They're trying to mix. These guys are trying to word salad. Reduction in white homeland populations would have been affordable housing. What? If it doesn't, you just have to kill the entire country for shekels. Liberal retards are too uneducated to realize the scale of the crime that is happening. Cultures that existed through genocide, civil wars, Black Death, thousands of years are going extinct within a few generations thanks to the flood of the third world. Once the cultures are dead, they will not come back. It's true. Let's look at the native cultures fucking dying. We're losing our natural Anishinaabe speakers, and then there's a lot of other languages that have just disappeared. Anishinaabe is not the only native language out there. Wexit is a solution for at least part of the country. You can do a lot when you are an energy superpower with the world's finest potash and uranium. Fuck the boomers, let them all die poor. They didn't save up enough, not my problem. So they're majority white. There's a massive surge of blacks in my city. I've never seen any of them doing trade work. It's on purpose. The Soviets did extensive work on building commie apartment blocks and multifamily homes, did research on how close living conditions destroys the nuclear family, and attempt to then mold the remnants to whatever the state desires. Second largest country in the world having a land crisis, not housing. It's the land that is most expensive and manufactured. The federal government recently changed the look of the crown on our seals, having a cross. Yeah, okay, we read that. Probably don't want to see that. I'm not going to dox that guy. Most of them are sold. A lie about how prosperous and good their lives will be in Canada. Any impoverished third worlders can't just decide to move here. The process is extremely expensive. The ones you are seeing in Canada were middle class in their shitholes and move here because they think that the prices of goods and services will be the same as they are in the Philippines. They will have Canadian dollars to pay for it, meaning there will be so much more. This is false. So they move here, work in shitty jobs, and the only way they can get ahead is if they cram themselves into tiny houses or apartments, build wealth collectively as a family. According to the ones I've asked, they have a worse standard of living here than they did back home. They don't view themselves as Canadians, and if things get bad enough, they will sell everything and flee back to their tropical islands or countries. Not sure how the government plans to keep their working brown slaves here to pay for boomers when the people who they are importing say was a better life when they lived in their concrete shack with a corrugated tin roof. Yeah, it's true. Most of them are sold a lie about how prosperous and good their lives will be in Canada. Randall Denley, Ontario's new housing plan won't solve the problem. Why did he just... Okay, there we go. Even recent immigrants who get citizenship do it solely to qualify for money from the government. Everyone I've talked to plans to move back to their shithole when they retire so they can live like a millionaire off their Canada pension. That would be a bit of an unheard of a few generations ago. Yeah, it makes sense. I'd do the same thing. How dumb do you have to get? How do you have to be to get tricked like that in the age of the internet? Do they not do any research? I feel like there must be more to it. Why they're coming? Why they want to leave their countries, etc. Canada must be better still, even if they aren't making as much money as relatively speaking. Yeah, because they send it back home where it's worth more. I pray before that 9.2 Cascadia tectonic earthquake every day. That hits the entire West Coast will be totally trashed for years. Canada's economy will never recover. Seattle, Portland, and even Eureka, California will be wiped off the map. Then the sheer rottenness of the North American infrastructure and finances will be revealed for what they are without any government lying and covering up the catastrophe. Yeah, for real. Just fucking have the whole West Coast slough off into the fucking ocean. I don't know why more whites don't move to the tropics, to be honest. I've traveled and spent my time just hanging out in small villages. It's pretty chill. Maybe they won't fully accept you, but the women will, and you, okay. I honestly wanted to move to French Polynesia, I'm not going to lie. I literally looked into immigrating to Papeete or Pampaete. Canada's explosive population growth. How many years have they been trying to solve the illusory worker and housing problem by importing hundreds of thousands of Tim Hortons employees? 10 years, 20 years? Yeah, what? Yeah. Hundreds of thousands of Tim Hortons employees. Don't forget Subway and Pizza. I've been living in this country my whole life, and I've never voted once in a single election. Yeah, okay, we read this already. It's truly astonishing the lies one can spew with a straight face, believing every single word of it. No wonder civilizations collapse. Yada, yada, yada. How dumb are you to have to be to get tricked like that? And yeah, okay, we read this already. It always makes me laugh when someone calls me crackers. Brings me back to the days of owning land and people. Oh, God. Okay, that's racist. Funny thing is, I have an honor of living in Brampton, which is experiencing a massive housing building boom. Oh, yeah, because a bunch of Indian people live there. Not a square inch of this city hasn't been built up on. Now, the funny part is, Indians have been great at scamming banks into giving them mortgages. There is no housing crisis in Brampton. Yeah. We must see how many Indian neighbors do you have? Thing is, Indians are easy to control. They inherently fear old stock Canadians and will quickly get into their lane when confronted. This is the reason why we import them. They make grace docile wage slaves. No wonder Brits were able to subjugate them with. Oh my God! Oh, they are kind of meek though. I'm not. They're in their 70s now. Talk about what is this guy asking? I hope he really wanted kids in his heart of hearts. Oh, okay. This is the guy who's talking about his brother's a rich family's apartment that have a Filipina maid. They're in their 70s now, and even though they don't talk about it, his wife is overflowing with thwarted maternal instinct. Sit in the same room with her, you can see she desperately needs grandchildren to fuss over her. Oh, she's caught some abandoned dog that vomits on the carpet. Oh my God, pure pottery. Pure poetry. I want you to rub their nose in their failure every chance you get. Show them that all they did was give up the legacy they were given to strangers that hate them. I want all those fucks to understand how evil they are before they die. It's true. Like, evil men prosper when good men do nothing, and a lot of these old boomers are just rotting, worried about themselves, and didn't want to have kids for the environment, all this stupid decisions. Instead of supporting the foundations that were there, they just went off and did their own thing, and now everything's crumbling. Some idiots grab onto this tragic hero vision of themselves where they act sullen like they're fighting some sort of guerrilla war for the spirit of the earth itself. Instead, they don't reproduce, so their ideas die out, and they tell other people they should kill themselves. It's a stupid, childish mindset. Anyone who expresses it will forever be labeled an idiot to me. Yeah, you really need to try to bring the people together and try to reach out to as many people as possible. Conservatives already said their solution is to ease the regulation on land development. They want to pave over our forests to build okay, yeah, we read this. Racist, ignorant, racist, blah, 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 racist, ignorant. Will it become clear to you the mainstream political parties? What does this guy reply to? Didn't we read this? All opinions. The mainstream political parties represent corporations, not the people, of course, particularly banking and construction. Yeah, but Pierre Poilievre has been up there asking for transparency for the last 7 years, so he can't become prime minister and not tell us what the hell is going on and asking for some see-through transparency on where the money's going. A vote for any of the mainstream parties is a vote for corporate rule, i.e. literal fascism. This is a bot poster because I've heard this talking point before, and it's a literal divisive talking point, just like how the CPP was promoted. I bet you that was a liberal campaign to split up the right vote. Anyway. A vote for any of the mainstream parties is a vote for corporate rule, literal fascism. PP gets in and gives jobs to all of the new Canadians that Trudeau brought in. Jobs, destroying the environment with consumerism so corporate numbers can keep compounding up. The two main political parties are tag teaming us, playing good cop, bad cop. Trudeau and PP hang out together at the same parties, drinking champagne with Soros, laughing at how fucking stupid the average Canadian is. Maybe they're not wrong. PP is getting on my nerves with his smarmy petulance and empty talking points in Parliament. No matter how much it excites him, not a lot of solid truths are coming out of his mouth. Nothing on the slow-motion catastrophe of injecting children with untested mRNA shots and the dramatically elevated death. Yeah, but you can't go after that without looking like a kook right now because of the narrative, so that would totally screw over the Conservative Party. Also, the Conservative Party can't fully back the truckers because then they'll look like they're right-wing Nazis, but they do either way back the truckers. the same thing. My only argument for Pierre Poilievre is I've watched him in Parliament. They show Parliament live, the Parliament speeches, both sides speaking. It's called CPAC. And Pierre has been in there for the last, I don't know, since Trudeau's taken office, saying, we want to know where the money's going. Who's getting the money? Who's getting the money? Who's getting them? You can't be in office asking that every fucking day and then get in a position of power and not. If he doesn't share it, then there's clearly we can tell he's corrupt. At least that way we can vet him right away. We can all shit on him right away and say he's corrupt. But no one's given this guy the chance, who's been literally shrieking in Parliament. The people want to know where the money's going, who's getting the money. No one's giving him a chance. And then you have these guys who don't make any sense, trying to double speak, play both parties, but totally trash him. It's weird. I don't agree with that. But Justin Trudeau was best friends with a convicted, college. So, anyway, critical of it here too, more so than of your policies, blah, 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 blah. Where's the solution in that plan? Okay, fine. Cut immigration. So what's the solution here? That's easy. Vote PPC. No. Just do 5 people a year, let housing collapse to Detroit levels. Then what? Where's the plan? Build back up, grow from what? Everyone currently born in Canada grew up educated, didn't have to work hard. What are you talking about? People still have to work hard today, but if we stop immigration, who the fuck is going to do all that? You expect a bunch of 15 years experience university and college graduates to shift the trades? Services jobs, more than half of them can't even turn a screwdriver or work beyond 40 hours a week. Then how do they get these expensive jobs? Why are they hiring these people? What are they doing? How do you think they're able to work 4 days a week? 3 hours from home. PPC didn't probode. What the fuck is that? Didn't probode a solution for the problems. Provide, I guess. They just made a list that panders to racism. Again, my point, yes, fine, stop immigration, but then what? In detail. Yeah, I agree. Go sell your... Oh, God. What's that? It's a retarded reply. University degree from UBC. I spent 90% of my life working in muddy, shitty construction jobs. My friend has 3 UBC degrees and works down on the docks. Education is worthless in Canada unless you want to worm your way into some bureaucracy. But even then, having connections is 100 times more important than the university. Yeah, that's how it's been since I've been a kid. It's never changed. It's who you know, not what you know, unfortunately. There's no merit in Canada. It's not a meritocracy. The restriction... Housing supply is almost entirely because of the government. Take a look at BC. 95% of the whole place is owned by the government, and they don't like to sell it for housing. Of the 5%, which is in private ownership, most of the largest tracts are actually owned by land conservancy groups, which get significant funding from the people like Bill Gates and the government too. The whole of BC has just a couple percentage of its land available for all uses, farming, housing, commercial, etc., etc. Then there's all the bureaucracy involved with getting building permits and building process itself. Oh fuck, they finally admitted that importing bazillion brown people a year and driving inflation of the housing market is driving the inflation of the housing market. Amazing. Are they going to point out the blatant money laundering too? I don't know why more whites don't move to the tropics. Yes, you read this. Yada, yada, yada. Here, yeah. What is this? The fuck? What the hell, boy? It's not a meteor shower, is it? No, is that white phosphorus? There's leaf poster looks like pick related. Dude, most of the posters they look like Khalistanida. Yeah, the fucking Khalistani fucks. Yeah. The guy who stabbed the dude who asked him to stop vaping next to his daughter. There's a couple places like that in a very small town near me. This the place sold 2 years ago. I kind of knew the previous owners, and it's sat empty ever since. Never ever seen someone visiting it. It's a strange thing to see in a very small little town where everybody knows everybody is related one way or another. I feel you, nigga. I make around the same after tax, and while I can afford to be comfy, I just flat out refuse to spend so much out of principle. I don't even know why I'm stacking cash at this point, other than to toss shit into stocks, because I don't want to drop $100K in a down payment and get tied down to some bullshit that blatantly really isn't worth it. Yeah, $100K a year. Yeah, see this again? This one issue makes me so fucking insanely angry. I make $100,000 a year and I can't even afford a condo. Could barely afford to rent a bachelor apartment again. I make 6 fucking figures. I worked hard and tried my best so I could get a good job, so I could get a good house and start a family. How the fuck am I going to raise my kids in a bachelor apartment where rent increases rapidly, outpace my raises at work? Like, honestly, man, if there was some sort of popular armed movement against the government, I'd Dude, I feel the same way. Dude, I make like 40 grand a year, like 48, I think 45. Like I make pennies, and yeah, it's insane. I can't afford a house. There's already problems in housing shortage, and then this. Well, a lot of them have been crammed into prairies. Back to Winnipeg for the first. Yeah, I noticed a lot of people in Saskatchewan and Winnipeg. A lot of Indian people. I was shocked at how many diversified people were there, and there was virtually zero before. Leave my Tluquakchesk alone. Alone. What the hell? Empty lots here are like 300K plus. Bringing all the tradies in the world isn't going to fix housing affordability. Wow. My rent. I don't want to work. Boomers did this. Christopher Freeland, Secretary Hillary Clinton, is a lifelong champion of democracy, human rights, women's and girls, and the middle class. Wonderful to see. Yeah, right. Yet the morons that created this fucking mess see the rising hate and anger among the people and literally think it's caused by disinformation and Russian bots. It is hard to really grasp how fucking stupid they are and how they fail to grasp that this country is a fucking powder keg and the fuse is getting shorter and shorter every day. Yep. Canada's explosive population growth from immigrants is causing rent to surge in the biggest cities, and there's another problem. The country isn't even properly counting the number of people who need homes. Yeah, they're just shitting people into the country. In the same situation as you, just 3 years ago, the housing was affordable outside of the immigrant-infested Grand Theft Auto, GTA, Greater Toronto Area. But now even some random shithole, GTA is GTA, though. Greater Toronto Area is Grand Theft Auto. It's insane. Ontario costs up to $1 million. It's true. It's about $1 million. You need about $1 million to comfortably buy a home right now. To comfortably buy a home and have money to sit on and feel comfortable, you would need a minimum of $1 million. Also, I believe you need to be considered an actual millionaire nowadays. You need to have a minimum of, this was like 2 years ago, so probably now you need to have a minimum of at least $15 million to be considered an actual millionaire like back in the day. Like back in the day, a millionaire was a millionaire. You have $1 million, you're in the millionaire club. Nowadays, you need 15 million Canadian or US dollars to be considered a millionaire in those countries, in our countries. I'm here to read from UBC. We read this guy. Friend took his wife to a resort in Mexico for a holiday. She was oblivious to anything but sunshine and warm weather, which she adored, but he was more concerned with the hate rays emanating from every filthy Indian person they encountered. Not really an option to live with sleazy dirtbags. Me, I love the winters here in Quebec. I want it to snow so hard that Africans can't get to the grocery store, so they... Oh, God, that's so racist. Get the fuck out of here. So ignorant. That's not 100% true. My girlfriend works for Service Canada departments, and they are cutting low-end personnel left and right, and they're complaining about budget cuts and no further training budget available. Apparently, the higher-up bureaucracy is less affected since they're impossible to fire and have large salaries. Yeah. All I know is that Canada is about 30% government employed. The UK was about 50% after 12 years of Labour government. They might nip and tuck sometimes, but their imperative is always the same: control more of everything. Daddy Pierre, during World War II, fucked off to India, where he lived as a Sikh. Jeez, interesting. Here's your school, but you can't buy class. That's 99% of the posters in this thread are either bots or actual stubborn, unlucky poor Canadians. Unless you have already secured the white-collar spot you want thanks to family connections, then you're going to make it. Unless you roll up your sleeves, then you're not going to make it unless you roll up your sleeves or move the fuck somewhere else. But as a local-born Canadian, even if not white, you have a bit of an edge over immigrants, at least with communication, knowledge, and privilege. There really isn't a solution but to immigrate. They've been saying it for decades, and now it's finally here. Yeah, like we're going to have to leave the country. Like that's what I feel. I was looking at leaving. My sister wants to leave too. We're both native. We both have kind of an advantage here, but it's still not enough. Unfortunately. Same, I told my uncle, he's French, but he wants to move to the Philippines. More immigrants will be able to build homes faster, not like lazy white Canadians. He's been to the Philippines, or he's got friends in the Philippines. You know, it's nice out there. They're child fucking scum. Maybe, God, conspiracy, racism. All I know is Canada's about blah, 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 blah. Why do you think I fled Vancouver? I was running home from my hospital janitor job, my janitor uniform with a pack on my back, 1 a.m., 1984, over the Granville Street Bridge to my West End apartment. I was West sidewalk as I came over the crest of the bridge, and there was a pack of 5 or 6 unturbaned Sikhs in their early 20s. Their leader saw me immediately, and they started crossing the road diagonally to intercept me and fuck with me. Though breaking stride, my buck knife came out of my pocket, and I stayed unopened. I let one brass end of the handle sticking out of my clenched fist as I ran, and their leader immediately gave the hand signal to his crew to go back to the east sidewalk. When they were almost halfway across the road, I looked back at them, and their hatred raised from their leader was shooting at my departing figure. It was priceless. Yeah, it's getting pretty terrible in Toronto, especially after this COVID nonsense. I just don't walk around anymore. I don't just walk around anymore. Always carry my skateboard. Too many people hassling me and getting in my face. I'd rather just avoid confrontation and roll by them. Crazy thing is, I've had people try to steal it when I was sitting down at a restaurant. We're becoming third world so fast, even normies are starting to notice. It's crazy. Man, look at that guy that got stabbed out west. It's stupid. That's a stupid plan. What's this guy saying? Everyone will have an IQ, then what? It's racist shit. The genocidal war between the Cro-Magnons and the Neanderthals isn't going on for 3,000, 100,000 years. The vestigial history is retained in our myths. The Jews are the werewolf, Cro-Magnons, domesticated wolf hunting dogs, and the white men hate the vampires. It's such a basic, such an Occam's razor view of everything, and racist and ignorant, but whatever. Fucking baffling. No one could have seen that coming. It's not like they all signed something called the Global Compact for safe, orderly, and regular migrations in 5 years. Yeah, look at Agenda 2021. That's the whole point of the globalist agenda. The only way it works is if they tell everybody exactly what they're doing, and everybody ignores it, and that's exactly what's happening. They have a giant conference every year, and they tell everybody, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is the plan for the world. This is what's going to happen. Those who are paying attention will know, and those who aren't will be fucking wondering what the hell's going on, and then all we'll do is look at them with a smarmy look on their face and say, you voted for us, and guess why? Because the people that are paying attention are, you know what I mean? We rigged the system, and the system's... It's written right here. We're going to rig the system. So we really hope nobody does anything about it. And people are like, yeah, this is a really cool story. Interesting. They don't take into consideration that these are your overlords are giving you the plan. And they're saying, hey, we're going to do this to you. And the only way you can stop it is if you tell us to stop. And then everybody's going, oh, cool. That's a cool story. That's not real life, right? Okay. Okay. Well, they could do whatever they want. Politicians are nice.